Welcome back for another video. In today's video I'll be running through the Gameweek20 team selection, transfer plans and thoughts heading into this game week. It's a double upload today with a tight turnaround, so if you missed the Gameweek20 roundup video, make sure you give that a watch too. A link will be on screen at the end. A quick thank you to the newest YouTube members, Simon Az, Anas, Derma and Milos. If you'd like to support me by becoming a YouTube member too, a link's in the description, which includes early access to some videos and a private channel on the Discord where I'll give team feedback. Lastly, if you'd like to follow my team throughout the season, make sure you're subscribed. A quick look back how Gameweek 19 went. In hindsight it could have gone better, but it was enough for a green arrow back to first. At the time of recording it's 53 points with Captain Ronaldo to play. 1 point separates us from second place, though they're finished for the game week, so a return from Ronaldo would be massive to open the gap. We'd predicted that Smith Rowe and Antonio could be benched, which would have left the pre-free hit team on 6 starting. Both were indeed benched, though Smith Rowe and Antonio scored after getting subbed on. Very unfortunate, but that's the way it goes sometimes. Realistically, it's going to be very difficult to hold on to first, as there's other managers with no chips used besides the wildcard. However, if Ronaldo does well, then at least a small gap opened. Following Crystal Palace requesting a postponement and Vieira absent from the match, a late decision was made to get Kane over KDB, though this meant that Lacazette dropped out, so it was the wrong call in the end and points lost. However, all out 23 points gained from the free hit, which is very reasonable. There will be a minimum of another 3 double game weeks plus at least 1 big blank game week, so time in the second free hit will be crucial. At rank 1 the pressure is on to the Gameweek 20 team selection and transfer plans. For the third consecutive game week we're unable to field an 11. The Arsenal vs Wolves game was postponed due to an outbreak within the Wolves camp and a long list of injuries. As a result, it's likely to be a forced goalkeeper transfer this game week to at least attempt to have 11 starters. At the end of the video I'll discuss the replacement and the justification. It's good to welcome the Liverpool lads back, and they travel to Leicester this game week. Leicester have been leaking goals all season and faced Liverpool off the back of a 6-3 loss. Liverpool will be more rested than the Foxes, and over the season Trent's on an expected goal involvement of 8.96 XGI, which is by far the most among defenders, second being Cancelo on 5.78 XGI. His 51 chances created is also 21 more than any other defender, second being Reece James. It was a disastrous Gameweek 19 for Reece James owners, especially those of us who had him on the free hit after his own goal. He's hit double digit points 4 times this season, so we know what he's capable of, and their fixtures turn for the worse soon. He's been taking a few set pieces, and Lukaku's return is great news as a target to aim at. Cancelo has the away game to Brentford this game week, who are rock bottom on the clean sheet odds. Walker's missed the last few matches, which has helped assure Cancelo's minutes. It's unclear if he's back for this one. At this point we're simply hoping everyone plays, as we're barely fielding 11 as it is. He got an assist in Man City's 6-3 win against Leicester, which now puts him on 1 goal and 7 assists for the season for 8 attacking returns. Chelsea have a lack of options at left wing back, so the hope is that Alonso gets the nod for this one too, though Tuchel's got a tough job on his hands managing them through the next 4 fixtures before the Club World Cup. Alonso took up very good areas against Aston Villa and even had a shot blocked inside the box. We're forced to start Livramento, who has a very tough fixture against an in-form Tottenham side. Between Gameweek 4 and Gameweek 11 he only blanked once, but since then he's failed to return in any game. Since we're barely able to field 11, we'll take whatever we can get from him. Salah gets the armband for the Leicester game. You could argue that the Leeds postponement has opened the game up a bit, because if that game had gone ahead he'd still be in pretty much every team and a set and forget captain. Instead there's an opportunity to gain more if you own him, or likewise if you're one of those who sold him. He's had 7 double-digit returns this season, so we'll hope to catch him at his best after a short rest. The recurring theme this game week is that we simply hope all players start, and that's certainly the case with Jota, whose position looks a little more under threat with the return of Firmino. He started the last 2 and scored in both, and has 10 goals for the season, which makes it his first Premier League season to hit double-digit goals, and we've only just passed the halfway mark. In a couple of game weeks, Salah is expected to depart after the Chelsea game for the African Cup of Nations along with Mane, which makes Jota an easy hold for the foreseeable. Foden completes the midfield, who's been somewhat of a disaster of a transfer. In an alternative universe, he doesn't go clubbing with Grealish and he's hauled over the last 2 game weeks, but instead we're desperately hopeful that he gets the nod for this game after being benched the last 2 for disciplinary reasons. One argument you can make in favour of him starting is that there's such a tight turnaround between games that Pep is guaranteed to rotate some players. Josh King comes back into the team for the game against West Ham. Watford have missed the last 3 games with a COVID outbreak, so let's hope we've seen the last of it. He faces West Ham, who only have 1 clean sheet since Gameweek 9 and conceded 2 or more goals in 9 of their 18 games played this season. Antonio completes the starting 11. He's another player you can make the case for starting the next one after being benched in Gameweek 19. He scored off the bench too, and he has some good fixtures on the horizon, so if we're lucky, Antonio could be getting back to some form. Watford haven't kept a clean sheet all season, so in an ideal world it's a high scoring game as a King and Antonio owner. None of the bench have a fixture this game week following further postponements, so we'll jump straight into the transfer plans. We've got 1.6 mil on the bank, so the current transfer plan is Foster to De Gea. Originally the plan was to sell Ramsdale for De Gea, but then you have to ask the question, is it really worth it? I've always been an advocate for having one keeper and a cheap backup, because in a normal season goalkeeper injuries are so rare. But this season is so unpredictable that a Man United postponement would leave us unable to field 11 again. The other factor is that Man United face Wolves just 8 days after their postponement versus Arsenal was announced, so they could have anywhere between 0, 1 or even 2 fixtures in Gameweek 21. So at rank 1, going with a single keeper feels like a completely avoidable risk. Even this season, many managers sold Sanchez in Gameweek 16 after Brighton's postponement for David De Gea, who then ended up with a Gameweek 17 postponement. It's crucial to be adaptable and flexible in FPL as things change fast, and this feels like the way to play it. So with that in mind, it's the goalkeeper transfer, and Ramsdale will be on the bench just in case we need him. And there will no doubt be game weeks where we have to choose between the two, and we can just back whichever has the better clean sheet odds. As always, I'll post my final team on the channel and on Twitter. If you'd like to follow my team throughout the season, make sure you're subscribed. But for now, that concludes today's video. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments how your Gameweek 19 went and what your plan is for Gameweek 20. I read every comment, so if you enjoyed the video, let me know. And lastly, please remember to like the video and hit subscribe to support the channel.